Hello again. You can tell I've decided to come wild camping because it's blowing a gale and pouring down with rain as usual. Welcome to Llyn Eigiau, and I'm currently standing in the foot of a breach of the dam that collapsed in 1925. This dam then subsequently flooded another dam further down the hill, which was also breached, and then flooded the village of Dolgarrog, killing 16 people. If you look on YouTube, you'll see a couple of old black and white clips, not many, talking or showing the events of the day. It's quite a sad story, but also it's quite fortunate because on the night this happened, most of the village was in a cinema, so they were out of harm's way. There is a memorial stone with a plaque on it with the names of those that were killed in Dolgarrog, but well worth looking up. Said 35 mile an hour winds on the weather report. I don't know what it actually is, but you've really got to lean into it when you're walking. Because the weather's quite bad, I'm probably going to just chill out in the tent today. I was going to try and summit Carnedd Llewellyn, but I don't want to risk it. I've got work tomorrow in the morning first thing, and the weather's quite bad. It's blowing a gale, and I'm on my own as I usually am, so I don't want to risk it. The mountain will be there for another day, so tonight's just about chilling out. I'll listen to a bit of music for a bit, maybe put a film on later, which I've downloaded onto my phone. I've been tagged in a fellow YouTuber's video. The channel is under the name Joss, and thank you, Joss, for tagging me in and sharing my channel with other people. The tag is to do with 3 luxury items that people take with them while camping. So Josh has asked me to show you some 3 luxury items that I take with me camping. So the first one is this table. It's a lightweight aluminium collapsible table. Now I know Alp kits sell them. It's called the splitter table, and I think the last time I checked it was £22 from Alp kit. This one I got from AliExpress, and it cost £12 delivered. Great, it only took 3 years to get here, as with everything off AliExpress. I'm only joking. It come in about 10 days, I think, something like that, and it's exactly the same. It's probably made by the same company, made in China, but it's very lightweight, packs down really small, and it's just handy because the vestibule in the Soulo isn't very big, so I can put items on the floor there and then place this over the top and use it as a cooking platform just to store things there. So that's one of my luxury items. The second luxury item, and I always take this with me, it's an old Sony pocket radio. It's not very heavy, it's not particularly small, and you do have to play about when you're sort of tuning in with the channels, but I like it because where I go, I try and go to places where there isn't a mobile phone signal, although I've got a couple of films that I load onto my phone beforehand. Sometimes it's just nice to listen to the radio, catch up with a bit of news. I am partial sometimes to a bit of classical music. Strangely, when you're in Snowdonia in some parts, this radio only picks up Irish channels, but I always take it with me. It's good to listen to a bit of music when you're just chilling out in the tent, especially when the weather's turned bad. Not expensive, they still sell them on Amazon, and I've had the batteries in this now for about 2 years and they're still going fine. The final luxury item that I usually take with me, probably 90% of the time, are these boots. They're not down, so there's no real drama if they get wet. I don't know if they're waterproof, but I wear them. I wear them around when I've sort of set up camp just to go outside wherever, and I've never had wet feet in them. They have got a rubber sole on as well. Again, I'm pretty sure I got them off Amazon. If not, it'll be eBay. I've had them a couple of years. I always pack them. They're very light and they squish down pretty small, really. They also double up as sort of winter boots. So in the winter months, as long as you keep them dry on the outside, you can wear them in your sleeping bag, a bit like down boots, but with the additional rubber sole and the fact that they're pretty water resistant. They're handy to have, especially if you've been on the hills all day and you just want to give your feet a rest. Plus also for those of us who are slightly older and may need to go to the toilet in the middle of the night, they're handy just to put on if you're not wearing them already, and you can pop out the tent. I haven't quite mastered the art of using a bottle yet, and I don't want to risk getting my sleeping bag wet, so stick these boots on and then nip outside. But a great piece of kit, not expensive, probably about £8 to £10 at the most, and they pack down really small. Thank you to Joss. If you don't know or you've never watched Joss's YouTube videos, they're highly recommended. They're very informative. They're not just about him going out camping, but he usually provides some good information as well, some which I didn't know. Very informative. So if you just look up his channel, I will, if I can figure out how to do it, I'll put his channel in the link to this video below. And I think now part of this deal is I've got to tag 3 people. So I'll tag 2 people who I know will probably watch this film at some point, and that is Si, whose YouTube channel is Ascent 41, So Si, if you could show us your 3 luxury items, please. And the next one is Andrew Beavers, which is under the YouTube channel Andrew Beavers. Andy, if you could perhaps show us 3 of your luxury items that you take wild camping with you, please. And I'm going to throw it out there, I doubt he'll ever watch this video, but I really enjoy watching his, and he was one of the first YouTubers that I started watching, so I'll tag him in as well, and that is Haze Outdoors. So Hazy, if you ever watch any of my videos, specifically this one, show us what your 3 luxury camping items are, and thank you to the 3 of you, because I really enjoy watching your videos as well. Got one of these Summit to Eat meals with me tonight, and I'm going to have a brew. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the Tokes 550 mug, because it's got measuring marks inside it, and apparently this needs about 300 millilitres of water. So I'll measure 300 millilitres of water using this mug, and then I'll fill it then with the water to make a brew, and then I'll boil that water in the MSR Titan kettle. So it'll give me enough for a full mug, and the water required for this freeze-dried meal. And there's enough for a brew. One of these hot chocolate sachets. The table also alleviates the need to have the sort of those tripod feet for the gas canister as well, because it creates a flat surface. One thing that you never see mentioned about the Hilleberg Soulo is the position of the door. The Soulo is wider at one end than at the top end. So your head end is this end. So as you can see the position of the door here. Now I'm left-handed, so it's great for me because I can sort of lean on my right hand side and do everything I want to with my left hand. Whereas if you were right-handed, you would be positioned
down the other end, which is narrower, and obviously the door's not there. So it is one thing to consider. Now with the Eigiau, the door is on the other side. So I found that I slept with the door down there and the vestibule cover area here. The vestibule in the Soulo is slightly smaller than the Eigiau, so just one thing to consider. I knew I was running low on this, but I thought I'll try and get the last bit out. So I brought a spare one with me. It was windy most of the night, and it rained a lot, but thankfully it stopped a few hours ago, so fingers crossed. I'll have this cup of coffee and then I'll pack up, and this will be the first time that I've actually packed up a dry tent this year. I always usually bring the rain with me at some point, but it will be nice not to have to unpack the tent when I get home and hang it up in my polytunnel. So I'm going to have this cup of coffee now, have a little bit of breakfast, and then pack up and set off for work. It's currently 6:30 in the morning. I've got plenty of time. My car's probably only about 15-20 minutes away from here, so I'm going to put all my rubbish back in this bag. Obviously I will take that with me. Can also sit up quite easily in the Soulo. There's plenty of room in here. Actually looks like it's going to be quite a nice day today. That's me all packed away, and I spoke too soon because just as I started packing the tent up, the heavens opened and we had a shower, so I will be unpacking the tent when I get home, and I'll dry it out in my polytunnel. Just my luck really. Right, off to work now, back to the car. I haven't had this Hilleberg Soulo long, and I haven't really tested it, to be honest. So I've had some pretty decent weather, alright rain, but no real winds. So it was good to actually see it performing in the wind. No idea what the speed was, but it was enough to sort of get you leaning into it while you were walking, and it's pretty solid, to be honest. I didn't have any issues. I didn't have to get out, retighten any lines or anything like that, so pretty reassuring really. You can actually see the big hole in the ground. You can imagine the water coming crashing through here. I've walked along the full length of the dam, and this part is pretty much the deepest part where the water would have been. So it's obviously found the weakest point there. Must have been horrendous. And to think about 100 years ago, I'd have been about 20 foot underwater here. I mean, I'm not a good looking bloke, but I'd have been a bloody ugly mermaid.
I'm always a bit pushed for time because I can only really get out in the week after work, and it's not so bad in the summer because of the late evenings. I can't get out at the weekend because I've got a 4-year-old son, and my wife works on the weekends. I'm really looking forward to taking him wild camping. I just think he's a little bit young at the moment, so I can only really get out on a weeknight after work, and I never quite know what time I'm going to finish work. And then wherever I go, I've obviously got to be up and back to the car reasonable time in the morning to start back to work the next day. So I do envy those of you who can get out for a couple of nights on a weekend. Maybe when my lad's a little bit older. These are actually all the boulders that came crashing down from that flooded dam. Just so you can gauge the size of these boulders, they're absolutely massive, and there's loads of them here. This is the only remaining building there, apparently, according to the sign there. It's a former hotel which was partially destroyed.